afternoon. My name is Dr. Vibert Issa White. President Trump has ordered the National Guard to leave Texas and to go into Chicago. Now, there's a lot of problems here from the state as well as the federal government. One of the problems comes from the state. You have the governor of Illinois as well as the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, who has told their local military, police, highway patrol, National Guard, and so forth, not to support President Trump and his initiative, which means that they should not support ICE. Do not allow them to utilize their facilities. Do not allow them to utilize their power in Chicago. In fact, to do everything they can to stop them. And this is a bad thing, because what is taking place now is that, again, you're putting local law enforcement in a precarious situation that can cause additional problems for them. And this, as this is going on, the governor, as well as the state, as well as the mayor, seems to be encouraging local citizens to utilize their force, to utilize their might, to utilize their numbers to block ICE agents. That is, to surround cars, block them in, and so forth. This is very dangerous, which was talked about by Chief of Police of Chicago by the name of Larry Snelling. He stated that when you do this, the police, ICE agents, federal agents will interpret that as an ambush, and they will utilize their might to kill people, to hurt people. Don't get involved in this type of activity, which is very, 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 very irresponsible for the governor and the mayor to encourage this type of action. Now, what's also taking place is that there is a fight now between the local government and the federal government. We had this fight before. It was called a civil war. And it was mounted at that time that the supreme law of the land is a centralized government out of Washington. Everything else is inferior to that. That cannot be changed, all right, unless it goes through a court battle. Now, if you want to take it to the Supreme Court, go ahead. That's the proper way to do, but not to do it on the streets, because it will not end up good for citizens. It will not end up good for people who are titled for deportation. It would not end up good for the American community. In that light, I'm encouraging local citizens and residents in Chicago, which I know Chicago very well, lived there for many years, on the south side, north side, and west side, and so forth, not to get involved. Don't get in this mix, because it's not going to turn out very good. Now, again, some people began to argue and say that, well, the president doesn't have this right. Again, I reiterate that he has the right under the Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1, that the president is the commander-in-chief, and that includes the National Guard. It always includes the National Guard. Kennedy did this in 1963. Johnson did it in 1967. Reagan did it during his administration. George Bush has also utilized this. So this is a very, very interesting thing. One last measure I want to make mention is the Posse Commutus Act of 1878 as well, that some people say limits the use of the military. Not really, all right? It only limits the use of the military during that Reconstruction period. But the president has taken the oath that he will defend the United States and the Constitution from foreign and domestic enemies. That cannot be ignored, it cannot be overshadowed, and it cannot be dismissed. That's a very real issue to this. What is my opinion? My opinion, again, if you don't like this, take it to the Supreme Court, fight in the courts, but do not get involved in street activities. We saw what Chicago can do to street protesters way back in 1968 during the Democratic National Convention. Chicago police, Chicago military, local police do not, it's a group that you don't want to play with, all right, for your own good, for your own protection. My name is Dr. Vibert Issa White, and I just gave a brief commentary as to what is taking place.